Welcome back. Today I'm going to analyze a game I played against one of you, my subscribers. If you're new here, I'm not a titled player, I'm not a chess coach, I'm not even a streamer, I'm just a random person trying to get better at chess. One of the ways that I do that is by analyzing the games that I've played. Sometimes I solve puzzles or play live games. But this is a game I played against a subscriber. What I'm going to do is just go through the moves and I'll speed that part up in editing until the eval bar over at the left jumps one way or the other, and then I'll try to figure out what should have happened instead, especially for my moves. So let's see if we can learn something. Okay, it looks like the eval bar jumped quite a bit there for my opponent in my favor, and I'm guessing that they shouldn't have taken that pawn. I'm not sure why. Because it looks like they win a pawn. Because after I take back with my knight, they're going to take with their queen, and they're going to be a pawn ahead. I'm trying to figure out why that's such a big mistake. The only thing that I can think of, I guess, is that once they do that, that I could check here with my bishop, and then win the queen with my queen. That's what it looks like. I'm going to turn on the lines and see. It says that they should have played h6, or bishop to d6, or bishop to e7. Oh no, that's the same bishop. Bishop to e7 or bishop to d6 or h6 or their top moves. But that was a huge mistake. Let's see if I capitalized on it. I did not. Okay, well my guess is that I should have taken, because it was a free knight, in the sense that if they took with their queen, that I would then check with my bishop. And I don't care if they take the bishop because their queen is hanging. Let's turn on the lines and see if that's what I should have done. Yes, I should have just taken the knight. Okay, because yeah, I think that's what would have happened. Had they done this, it would have been an even bigger blunder. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. I did guess that because now their queen is hanging. And basically, they might as, if they're going to lose the queen anyway, they might as well block that check with their queen. And when they do, I'll take it with my bishop. They'll take back, and then I'll be up the queen. Okay, so I did not capitalize on that blunder correctly. I moved up there for some reason. I just didn't see that tactic. Because yeah, I have a 4.2 advantage here, and I didn't see the fact that their queen would be unguarded on that spot. Okay, well let's turn off the lines and go to the next spot at which the eval bar jumps, because here it jumped when I missed that tactic. Okay, it jumped again there. I didn't count the little jumps. If it jumps between +1 and -1, it's somewhere 0 point something, I don't really count that as anything more than inaccurate. But here it jumped from 0 to, it looked like -1 for me just going back with my knight. So maybe I should have just protected it with the pawn. That's the only thing. No, it's already protected. It's already protected with my queen. Maybe I should have moved this pawn forward to keep that pawn from moving forward, because then they wouldn't be able to hit it with their bishop. E5, that's what I'm going to guess. Well, no, I was way off. Okay, it was bishop to e3 is my only, well no, f4 also would have maintained. What does f4 do? I mean, I know it clears space for my rook to go, but what's the idea here? Yeah, I don't understand the idea of f3. I mean, of f4. I do understand that. I mean, that knight's just sitting there, and this develops a piece and to a decent almost centralized square, and it attacks the knight, and that knight's protected. So I didn't need to move that knight. I understand that move, but not f4. What does f4 do? It opens this up, but I mean, that's not a diagonal moving piece, but well, what's to keep them from doing this now that I've moved the f-pawn? And it says that's their top move. Well, one of their top moves. It didn't have that listed as what they would have done. Back here, when you back up, and it told me to play f4, which it's not suggesting now, it said they would play h5. Yeah, it's not suggesting f4 now. f4 is my second best move, and it does not give me an advantage. That's interesting. But once I play f4, it says they would play bishop to c5, or still h5. h5 is still suggested, but bishop to c5 is also one of their top moves. That's what I think now, because now that that pawn's out of the way here, once they put that bishop there, all they've got to do is move this knight someplace, and I'm in check. Okay, so yeah, I don't understand f4 at all. Let's see if it recommends it again. Well, now it's recommending it as even worse than it was before, instead of my top move. Bishop to e3. Sometimes, if you're going through games with Stockfish, one thing I have learned is if you're not sure if that should be the actual top move, go ahead and play it, and then come back and see if the evaluation has changed, because as you see, it did here. It was a good 50-point swing on f4. Well, I don't understand f4 still, but I do understand bishop to e3. That would have prevented their bishop from coming here. I mean, not prevented it, but it would have made it pointless to come here, and it would have attacked this knight. They probably would have gone back. All right, let's turn off the lines and keep going. Okay, it did take a second, but the eval bar did drop there. I was at about plus or -1, I should say, and it dropped to almost -2. So that's very nearly a mistake bringing this over here. I guess I was looking to trade off that knight because here it's just hanging. Or now should I have played f4? Is that why I was suggesting f4 earlier? Because I was going to need to put my knight here and need it to be protected at that time? But I would have just lost a pawn for that. If I had played f4 here, they could have taken, and if I had taken back, they would have taken. I would have lost a pawn. I guess then I could have put this bishop over here, but then their queen just could have gotten out of the way. I don't think I should have put it here because they have 2 pieces aiming at that square. I'm going to guess f4. Okay, this time f4 makes sense, and it does say f4 is my top move. Let's see. If I play f4, does that maintain about the -1? Okay, well, back up. Is it still suggesting f4? Wait, knight g4 is just as good. Putting it back where it was. So either f4 or putting it back where it was, but instead I played over here, which turned out to not be a good idea. All right, off the lines. All right, well, we didn't have to go far. That move gave away all of my opponent's advantage, or almost all of it. I understand why they would play it, because they've been thinking about freeing this bishop, but that bishop really has nowhere to go right now. My queen is defending that spot. My pawn is defending that spot. I guess they could go there and aim at the knight. Maybe that's why they thought to play e5 now, because the bishop could go here and then they would have 2 pieces aiming at that knight. I think maybe the problem with that is that I can then go here and damage their pawn structure. So I'm guessing that they should have just taken. Oh, I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but this is Vedant Baj was my opponent. Oh, you can see it at the top of the screen if you're watching this on a large enough screen to read that. I have played Vedant Baj several times. All right, let's turn on the lines and see. Should they have taken my knight? Yes. They should have taken my knight, and then I assume I would have taken back, and then they would have played b5, which would have gained a tempo, forcing my bishop back to one of these squares. I was pretty sure that that's what they should have done, but now it says that now it's -2 if they do that. When I put it here, it was only -1.9. That's pretty close. Well, I guessed that one right, so I think I do understand a little bit about chess, but that is actually what I expected them to do at this point. I just didn't know that I had this much of a disadvantage. Off the lines and keep going. Okay, my opponents getting their queen out of danger here gave me a +1 advantage when it had been very close to even. Before that, the eval bar was saying right around 0. My opponent maybe even having a very slight advantage, 0 point something. So they should have put their queen somewhere different than there. I'm not sure what is so bad about g6. What is so bad about g6? My bishop is pointing there, but this pawn's not going anywhere for a while. These 2 pawns are kind of stuck right now. So I don't understand why that's bad. I'm not threatening this because their bishop is protecting that square. They must have just had something better at this point. Should they have checked? Maybe they should have checked because that would have been a protected square. Let's see, if they had checked, I would have had to move out of check. I'm guessing slightly forward to g2 and then move their queen. I have no idea. Let's take a look. It says queen to d8 is their only move that maintains their very slight advantage. Okay, so I was way off there. They just need to bring the queen back home. Often when the queen comes out that early, that is the best option if the queen gets threatened, is just to take it back to her home square. I have learned that, and I've also learned not to bring my queen out that early. That is one thing that I do see a lot when I play a lower rated opponent, is the queen coming out very early. In this game, the queen came out on move 9, which is almost never a good idea. Very rarely, unless it's just a capture of a free piece, something like that. Just a heads up, if you are lower rated than me and trying to climb the rating ladder, that's a really good piece of advice to pick up. Keep that queen until she's needed, because she will be needed later, and you don't want to give her away early. So take her back to the home square. I get that. Let's keep moving. Okay, well, I gave the advantage right back. Well, the queen has moved out of danger. I took a free pawn. I don't understand why that's bad. Also, I have a retreat square. I can just bring the knight right back where it was. I'm threatening the rook, which I assume will move one of these 2 places, and then I put the knight back and I've gained a pawn. What should I have done? Surely I shouldn't have checked right now because they can block with that pawn that I'm about to take. Once I take that pawn and my knight's there, then I can check from over here. Whoops, that's not a check. Okay, I can't draw arrows today, which isn't always the case. There. I can check from over there with my queen after I take that pawn, so I don't understand why that's bad. But I'm going to turn on the lines and see what it says. Hopefully not f4 again. Okay, it wasn't f4. Good. But it was bishop to e3. All right, bishop to e3 is there. Well, that makes sense. I need to finish development. That's another piece of advice if you're lower rated, or in my case, middle rated, and trying to gain rating points. Develop your pieces before you start attacking. It just looked to me like it would be so easy for them to defend that pawn by moving it forward, and that would block off another square from me and of course block off this check that I was just talking about. And it also looked like I didn't have a lot of good places to go. Like, does that really do anything? I mean, I guess it adds a protection to this pawn. I'm not really threatening that knight because this pawn's here. Or maybe I should trade it off for the knight since the center is kind of semi-closed right now. I could open it up by doing that. But no, then if I open it up, I would want my bishops. Yeah, I do understand the idea of finishing development before attacking. It's just that this might have been my last chance to attack here. It says it's not. Stuckfish says in the line that if I play here, they're not going to then play this pawn. They're going to leave it hanging. That means it's probably not a good idea for me to take on the next move either. Okay, but that's the only move that maintains my very slight advantage is bishop to e6. Okay, turn off the lines. But instead I played that. Pardon the interruption, someone knocked on my door. Yes, jerks actually still do that. Just randomly go knock on people's doors. People that they don't know. Where were we? Okay, when I put my opponent in check, Vedant Baj moved there, and that gave me an advantage. When they had actually almost a -2, they should have just brought the... No, they shouldn't have just brought the bishop back. I know that because I have a knight here. See, that was another reason to put the knight there. That's why I don't understand why the knight was so bad. Should they have blocked the check by putting this back? That's what I'm going to guess. Because a move or two earlier... When I said I should have played bishop to e3, it said their next move would be putting the knight here, and my guess is that's wise to block this check. So that's what I'm going to guess they should have played. No, I was way off. That apparently would have been a huge blunder. Okay. It says they should have moved the king the other way, or even here would have been close to equal. They only had 3 choices, right, of moving the king. They had 2 choices to block. That one would have been bad, as we discussed, because my knight covers that square. It would have been getting close to mate at that point. But I don't understand what's so bad about this. What would I have had they played there? It says that would have been a huge blunder. Oh, because the rook's hanging. Okay. Wait. Back up. Okay, see, I didn't stop here because the eval bar didn't move, but that was actually their best move at this point. Okay, and I get the reason that was their best move, because I wouldn't then take the rook because my queen's in danger. So they did that. I should have checked. That was my best move, and they would have maintained an advantage just by moving over that way and trapping that rook. Okay, but instead they went this way. Under many circumstances, that would be checkmate, but I didn't play checkmate because I could see that their bishop is there, so it's not actually checkmate. And now I left the lines on, but I'm pretty sure I didn't play that next move. I'm pretty sure I took their rook, and it said that was bad, as you saw when I clicked to it by accident. The eval bar jumped huge. It says my best move is rook to d1. Well, I'm surprised. I'm surprised by that because this bishop is here, protecting that square. That's d1, right? And that's the only rook I can put to d1, and I can't stop them from taking it. Okay, it says rook to d1 is my best move by far, and it says that they would not take it, and I assume that's because their rook is hanging. But their rook is hanging if I take it, and it doesn't want me to take it. That's not among my top 3 moves. h4 is one of my good moves. Wait, why wouldn't they take? Their best move is to come here, where I can still take it. And it says I would take it there. I know that a few of the people that watch this channel are higher rated than me, at least in the past. People have reported on polls or in comments that they are higher rated than me. At least one person who's commented here is a titled player. If any of you have any idea what's going on here, let me know. I don't understand why. I mean, okay, I do understand why it would be better for black to have me take the rook there, because then they can take back with the bishop or the king. I get that. I really do. Wait. I just got why they didn't take here. Okay. They won't take here because their bishop is the only thing that's protecting against checkmate right now. Sorry, it took me a second. But yes, if they capture the rook here, which I guess that's the reason for moving it over there, is bait. Because if they take it, I have checkmate down there on d7. That I get. So, okay, so I understand why they wouldn't take it, but I don't understand why I would have put it there in the first place instead of taking their rook. And now I have to take their rook over here if they make the best move. Okay, but I didn't play this because I didn't understand that was bait for checkmate. What I played instead was taking their rook, but that was really bad because now they can play knight to f3, check. But that's the only move. That was another reason for putting this bishop here, threatening my queen and forcing my queen out to the side. So now there's nothing of mine protecting this square. But really, if they check, I just move out of it, right? Okay, my opponent did check here. My opponent was playing very well, and during this whole section, I felt like my position was very tenuous the entire time. Okay, I only have two choices. I can't capture the piece. I have to go to one square or the other. I left the lines on, but it says king to h1 is better, which is really weird because a game I analyzed just a couple of days ago. In this situation, I absolutely had to move to g2, but I moved to h1 and it was a huge blunder. But here, h1 is the best, quite a bit better, in fact, and that's what I did. Does it ever get better for me? I'm going to turn off the lines. But it does get better for me. All right, it got better for me just immediately, but I did see on the lines first that their queen should have gone to h5 because they're threatening mate. And I don't think I could have, what could I have done about that? h4? But then they would have taken it. And if I had taken back, they would have taken back, and yeah, I would have been in trouble. Okay, but my opponent didn't see queen to h4 or queen to h5. My opponent took there. That brought us back to even. Turn off the lines before I have a chance to read them. Did I play the best move here? I was pretty sure I wasn't supposed to take, because if I take, we're going to be back in the situation we would have been in had they checked me here, or had they put their knight there and had I taken it, which is apparently what they were supposed to do. If I take this, they're definitely going to see that. And then where am I going to go? Here? Then they're going to come in here, and I have to go down, and then they're going to go here, and that's going to be mate. So I'm pretty sure I shouldn't take it. And I didn't. I did that. Was that a blunder? Oh, that had to have been my best move because the eval bar didn't jump at all. Moved my queen here to check. Again, they're not going to block with the bishop because I have a knight protecting that square, which is why I wanted my knight in the corner instead of over here. Okay. All right. Vedant Baj took my rook, which I think any normal person would have done there. But that was bad. Is it because I can take? What should they have done instead? I'm going to guess that what they should have done instead is go ahead and play queen to h5 again. Is that what it says? Yeah, queen to h5. Or back. Even putting the knight back on f3 would have been fine, because then the knight and bishop would have been guarding these three squares. So when the queen comes over to check, I would be in very tenuous spot because that queen would be cutting off this and ready to come down in here protected by the knight and the bishop. For future reference, Vedant Baj, if you are watching, I didn't take the knight because I was afraid of queen to h5. You definitely want your queen there in this situation. Taking the rook is juicy, but right now the rook is your friend. And I know it's hard to see this at beginner levels. It was certainly hard for me to see it. I didn't know what else to do in this situation, like move my rook. Right now my rook is trapping me in, but if I move it, like, what's it, where's it going to go? What's it doing? It's going to point at the back of that pawn like it's pointing at the back of this one? Yeah, the rook is your friend right now because it's keeping me from running away. And it can't come over here to protect any of these squares because my king's in the way. These two guys are in a very narrow hallway, like in one of those old castles, and they're two sword fighters trying to get past each other, but they can't because they're both a little heavy set, and for some reason hallways back then were really narrow, so they can't squeeze past each other. I guess, something like that. I am very narrow, but even I have been in some hallways that had trouble squeezing past somebody, but that's the problem here. My king can't get away. You need to trap it. Turn off the lines. That's what happened there, and I should I have taken it or played what I played next? What I played next was that, but that was a mistake. Okay, I'm guessing I should have taken the knight. Yeah, okay. I thought I could check first and then take the knight. That's my second best move. Well, I checked first, lost my advantage. And did they take the knight back? No, they moved out of check. Oh, that was a big blunder. Big blunder. Oh no, they couldn't have moved the knight back because they were in check. Should they have blocked with the bishop? That's what I thought they were going to do. And then I would take the knight. Should they have blocked? No. Again, back here. Wait, what? I think I get this. Right now their bishops are protecting all of these squares from back here. So I can't check again if they go back there. But if they go here, which they did, then I can check again there. Or I could just take the knight now. But they went there. Okay, and it was right for me to take the knight now. Well, that's what I thought. But so if they had gone the other way, if they had gone here, then it would not have been right for me to take the knight. It's still my best move to take the knight, but suddenly I don't have an advantage anymore. But because they went there instead to d8 instead of f8, then I can take the knight. I'm guessing it's possible that one reason they went toward me instead of away is because they were still holding out hopes of getting this rook out. That might be it. But I've got a rook that's stuck too. We're both playing without rooks right now. But instead they went the other way. There. And now I'm supposed to take the knight, which I did. And we saw that before I turned off the lines. Okay. That actually made it worse for them. And it looks like almost like a miss mouse slip. Wow, those words are interesting to say. It almost looks like they meant to go here. Because remember, their bishops are still guarding all of these squares, so I'm not going to go to any of those with my queen. But yeah, I wouldn't have moved there, I'm pretty sure. just because that doesn't do anything. In fact, if anything, it keeps your king from being able to get back there. At least if you had come one further, you would be able to hide your king and kind of castle by hand. It would have taken a couple of extra moves, but it would have been possible. That's why I don't understand when earlier when the computer said to go that way, then you're just trapping the rook and there's no way out. Okay, I don't know what they should have done instead, but it was +7, +8, and that made it +14. What should they have done? Bishop to f3 check. Ooh, nice. Or f5. I think the bishop to f3 check would have been more forcing, but I still would have had a huge advantage if they had done that. Oh, it says I would have blocked with my bishop. Oh, okay. See, I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have got out of check if they had checked there, and then they would have come here and been threatening mate, and then I would have had to go here or something. But it wants me to block, if they check here, it wants me to block with the bishop so I can run away, maybe. And also I would be guarding the corner square with my bishop if they didn't take. No, they probably would, because if they didn't, I would take them. But if they checked here and I blocked, wouldn't they just move back? I just saw something else. If I just moved out of check here, they might take here, take my pawn, and because their queen is protecting that pawn, where the bishop would then be pointed at my queen and my knight. Okay, that's why it would be better to block with my bishop for sure. I got that. Or bishop to c8, threatening my queen. Or queen to f6, I guess lining up for here, or getting out of the way of these pawns a little bit, I'm not sure. But instead they played the rook over, which was bad. All right, let's see if I did the proper response to that. Well, the eval bar didn't jump, but the number jumped from 14 to 7. It was +14 and now it's +7. I thought I was preventing that check, but instead I should have probably checked again. No, I should have gotten my knight out, because I can get my knight out now. That would have maintained the +13 or so. Okay, well, I didn't. All right, once again, the eval bar did not drop, but the number changed from +8 to +5 when I checked with that bishop. But you saw what I did, right? I finally had a chance to get that bishop out, and now I have a rook, a whole rook. This guy hasn't moved, and we're on move 26, and he's just been stuck over here because the bishop was in the way. But that was bad. It wasn't bad to get it out. It was bad to put it over there and check. Is that because they can block here? No, because then I would take it. I wonder what should I have done instead? Should I have taken? Surely not, because I don't know if I should have taken that pawn or not. But again, I'm guessing I should have gotten my knight out. No, I should have played rook to here. Rook to c1. And then they would have taken here, and I would have taken here, and then they would have put their rook there. No, there. Okay. I don't understand all of that. Rook, I don't understand why. Okay, taking the pawn was my second best move. Moving the rook over here was my third best move to e1, but checking was not. So when I checked, it drops to +5. I still have a significant advantage. Usually +5 means you can win. Just being careful. But here, as you can see, I'm throwing advantages, and my opponent, where the advantage is jumping 4 and 5 points per move. Okay, here my opponent blocked with the bishop. I'm not entirely sure why that was bad for them, because it jumped from +5 to +9 or so. I'm going to guess that the engine wanted them to repeat, because the engine knows that I have a +5 advantage here, and their best plan is to get me to repeat checks like we just did, something like this, and just go back and forth, because if they can get a draw by repetition, it's good for them. I might have done it too, because I wasn't sure here. But why is this bad necessarily? Should they have, oh, they can't check first. They have to get out of check because they're in check. So should they have just gone back here or here? Surely not. Yeah, king to f6 is their best one, or even king to e8. I'm guessing king to e8 because then they can maybe sneak back through there. But king to f6, well, that prevents any more checks immediately. I wouldn't be able to check them again from there. But I can't check them again by moving that bishop either, that I know of. Okay, well, I'm up +10. Let's see what I did with it. Well, I lost 4 points of it immediately. Okay, a couple of moves ago, that was my best move, but now it lost 3 points. So I should have played bishop to h3. That's this one. Oh, pointed down there. Put pressure on the pinned piece. And then it says they just would have backed away from it, hoping to hide, and I just would have won their bishop. Wow, that's what it says. I just would have won their bishop. Well, yeah, because they can't protect it with the king. Well, what? Wait, they can't. Oh, no, they couldn't protect it there. Okay. They can't protect the bishop. Wow. Okay. Well, there is a lesson for us all as well. Since this piece is pinned, if I have a way to attack that piece, it can't move right now. And my opponent doesn't have a way to add a defender to it. Not a good way. Whoops. If they brought the rook over to defend, I would take the rook. So yeah. Okay. I should have seen pinned piece. Anytime you see a pinned piece with jack pinned to the king, you can look for a way to attack that pinned piece. I guess I could have seen that. Lines off. Wait. Okay, sorry, I have to say this. I am attacking the pinned piece, but that was bad for some reason. It took 3 whole points off my advantage. This not only gets my knight out of possible danger down there, but it attacks the pinned piece. And they're going to lose that piece, right? So what does the opponent do now? Oh, well, that attacks the rook. But now the knight's in the way, so I should take this, right? Well, wait, now I thought of bishop to h3, and that lost all my advantage. Oh my goodness. Should I? Okay, I think the reason I didn't take it is because I thought they would take with the rook. But then I would have just gotten out, right? Or should I have checked? Whoops. Should I have checked here? That's what I should have done. Okay, I'm going to guess it was knight to d5 check and then win the rook for a bishop. Okay, it was. I did see it. Knight to d5 check. It took me a second because that's the problem with me. That's the problem for me with them moving the rook there, is that my knight's in the way of it. Whereas it wouldn't have been in the way had I attacked the pinned piece over here on h3. But I can get out of that by checking on d5. Okay, well, I saw that. But this lost all my advantage, and now they pinned my piece. So I'm assuming I have to move my king to protect it. Wait, what? Oh, I thought I was going to move my king to protect the bishop, but instead I took that, and the rating didn't drop that much, the eval. Okay, I have to move out of check. Well, taking that pawn was bad. Gonna guess I should have... What is it with these arrows today? I'm gonna guess that I should have gone to d5 with my queen. Is that what it was? Nope. It was way back here. Oh, because I'm in trouble on my king's side. I need to bring my queen back to protect over here. Going there doesn't help as much. I get that. All right, I'll just leave the lines on and finish out this game, but I gave away a big advantage by doing that. My opponent's supposed to take that pawn now, and they did. If I had dropped my queen here, my queen would have been protecting that spot. But instead, I took back with my... Whoa, back up. You saw that, right? It jumped to mate in 1. I definitely should not have taken that pawn, and that's definitely why I should have put the queen here. Okay, I should have played queen to b6. What? What does that do? That's b6, right? No, b6 is here. Oh, okay. Well, that's what I should have played. Queen to b6, or bishop to b6, or bishop to d8 check. Well, they would have taken that, and then I would have played here and check, and then they would have blocked again. Very interesting. But what I played was taking that pawn, because this is what I thought. I thought, well, if they take it, I mean, I'm just going to move out of check, right? And if we keep playing that little game, eventually I'm going to be able to block with one of these pieces. That's what I thought was going to happen here. But instead, my Vedant Baj played that, and that's mate, because the dark squared bishop cuts off these squares, and the queen cuts off all those. I don't have any piece that can block here. Like, I need more turns. Good game, Vedant Baj. Apparently we both made plenty of mistakes. Hopefully I learned something from this. Sometimes I'm not sure, and sometimes I say, I don't think I learned anything from this, but then later I remember something from that session. And sometimes the opposite is true as well. I think I learned something, but then later I obviously forgot it. But here, one thing I should have learned here is to look for checks. Because once that pawn moves, you have this check. If I don't move that pawn, you don't have that check. But I moved the pawn, so it was mate. Also, I need to pay attention to which squares are cut off from my king. And that, I think, clearly would have indicated to me that mate was coming here. But good game. Good for finding that, at least. And obviously some of your other moves weren't quite as good, but on the average, they were better than mine. I look forward to our next game, which has just started. And for everyone else, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.